It's a city boy boogie. The city boy boogie. Go watch that city boy boogie up and down Main Street all night. Say it's a city boy boogie.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Getting Close Up, the show focused on independent artists and creatives. I'm your host, Danielle Cox, and I'm just going to invite you to the GCU fam today by liking, subscribing, and making sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, my next guest is determined to Swoovi you off your feet. You like that?
I like that.
I did that specifically for you. He's a singer and a songwriter, and you honestly just got to see him to believe him. Today, we are getting close up with Swoovi. That's
How we doing? Yeah,
you like that?
I do like that. That was a nice. That was a prepped. I'm flattered.
At a loss for words, which is not typical.
You know, and that's the thing. That just is a testament to how much you guys truly care about what you do here, and kind of making me feel that level of accepted. You know, because that's like one of our main insecurities as an artist, and getting into artistry is like, okay, but are they gonna accept me?
Yeah, it's like it's that little
unspoken
troll on your shoulder.
That's exactly it.
And since I already used your name as a pun, because the people watching already know that I like
Swoovi.
I like being a little corny sometimes.
Man,
This is my thing.
Corny for the win, man. That's the thing.
So I want to go ahead and just get the question out the way. What the heck is a Swoovi?
Is a Swoovi. Well, that's the thing. Let's dive into parts of speech. Swoovi can be many things.
Okay.
A swoov is a noun, right? Swoove in is a verb. Okay. It can also be an adverb, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It can be an adjective, like, damn, you're really swooving right there. I guess that's an adverb, but that fit is swooving. You know what I mean? I am. They call me Swoovi, right? But Swoovi really is so much more, right? It's an overall encompassing essence of promoting, you know, comfortable in your own skin.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Swoovi is something that I've had to work hard to achieve, and I pay my rent every day. As far as, you know, I think a lot of what artists deal with is, you know, because artist people have artist friends, right? And everybody's on their own journey. But I think it's human nature to compare product, to compare pace, to compare where we're at, to compare. And the reality of it is that there's so many more variables than constants when it comes to creating an artistry.
It just makes you stand out. So you can find something to make yourself stand out, your brand.
Yeah, and
Right?
and I think that's something that, you know, as you're selling a creative brand, you want everybody to adopt it as their own, right? And I think the essence of swooving is to really, like, hey, try this on and see how it fits. And matter of fact, see how it feels. Oh, it feels good?
And you just created a new word for it.
Come on, man.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so Swoovi is...
Kind of get the essence of overall what that means.
Swoovi is.
So we got some insight into how you feel about your artistry and everything.
Yeah.
So let's kind of take a couple steps back.
Uh-huh.
Now, your dad took you to one of your first concerts. It was like a blues and jazz festival.
Yeah, that was one that I don't. I thought you were talking about like the one that I remember. I was like, Mom, that was Mom and Toby Keith. No.
But talk to me about how
the very
some of the
first
early exposure influenced the style that you decided to choose.
years 1, 2, and 3. Me and my twin. I have a twin. I don't know if anybody knew that. I have a twin brother who's non-verbally autistic. Yeah, he used to call us the units, right? He'd take the units to the Kansas City Blues and Jazz Festival.
Yeah.
And we used to just post up and a blanket and a little umbrella and little Joe Cool shades on and not know what the hell was going on, but and that was like the raw influence. And as you're like a young child, I have this theory that like the first 18 months of existence is like tripping, right? Because like you can't do shit about shit.
You can't do anything.
You're completely dependent on your creators, and so babies are brilliant, You know,
They are.
infants are brilliant. You know, I think the misconception of brilliant, you know, and then like add the sponge aspect of
Very much
children.
so.
You know, you don't even realize that you're forming like the foundation of who you're gonna be. You know, I don't know if you've heard this, but psychology studies state that you are who you are by 6.
Yeah, no, I have heard that.
And so here's
I have heard
Dad,
that.
you know, like not vigorously, you know, he like Joe cooled it out the whole time, which is why I turned out so swoopy. You know, he really just made sure that like the music, the art. I grew up around a lot of Ty Wilson paintings. I don't know if you know who Ty Wilson is, but that was a lot of the inspiration on my Wonder Boys Lullaby cover,
Yeah.
which was actually done by the AI Hub. Shouts to AI Hub.
It's really cool.
So, yeah, I think the jazz and the blues and the R&B, he wanted that to like
Just kind of seep into you.
with my soul,
Yeah.
you know. And so at least with the music of subconscious interest before
Yeah.
I was consciously making the decisions on what I liked, that was within me. And I thank you. I thank him for that.
No, that was awesome of him. He started you out right.
Yeah, no, he
100%.
did. He started me out chilling. Made sure I was gonna be chilling.
Now, what about some of the influences later? Because things that those are what you were implanted with and imprinted with. What about things that you picked up later for yourself?
Swoovi is very eclectic. I'm glad that you kind of brought that up, because as the timeline goes, you know, Mom and Dad split up about 6 or 8. I think once at 6, again at 8. You know, and dealing with all of that, and the system hyper focusing on, oh, is he okay? We better send him to divorce parents counseling, and you know, mind you, that was cool, but you know, young Swoop got himself a girlfriend in the counseling sessions at 8 years old. You know, what I mean, I wasn't worried about healing. I was worried about you know, experiencing. You know, it's. When, you know, because people ask me, they're like, you know, what, do you know who you are? And it's like, man, I'm not. Or do you understand who you are? And it's like, man, I don't know if I'm meant to be understood. I'm meant to be experienced, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get that.
Yeah. So, no.
No.
Is the better answer.
And people aren't like, you know, here to be fixed or changed or anything like that.
No.
Really to be experienced. And you understand through the experience. And you got your guitar here with you.
I do.
And there's a song that you chose that you want to go ahead and play. So I want to have you just go ahead and give us a little quick intro to it, and
then talk about what kind of influences, because this is.
Go ahead and.
All right.
Yeah.
This is Baby. Everybody say hi, Baby. Baby in the corner. So yeah, I mean, in this journey of, you know, kind of knowing what I wanted, but doing what I had to do to get in this position, it's been a grind, and it's been, you know, so I met, you know, my manager and my benefactor, my boss, Bill Knox, who has been generously kind of being the financial means of unfolding what this,
which is a big deal.
Oh man,
for every artist that I've talked to.
And you know, and I think, you know, coming not from money, in the very beginning, I found out where the gas tank, how big the gas tank and where E was, right? So I punched the gas as hard as I could, ran the car out of gas, and I was like, okay, now I know how to pace myself in this venture. Right?
Yeah.
So Wonder Boy is kind of a testament to making sure you just remember, like, to breathe, and remember, you know, that the only constant in this life is change, and what true, like, the things aren't what are gonna, you know, because people get to the top and they still feel empty. You know what I mean? You know, there's greats that have, you know, are no longer with us because they couldn't figure out what they were missing along the way. And I think the connection, the intangibles are, you know, you can't buy that. You can't buy time. You can't buy, you know, and that's what. So this song is Wonder Boy's Lullaby. Me being Wonder Boy
Of course.
is just kind of like a hey, breathe, man. You're good. You're loved. You're on the right. You know, you're doing well.
You're doing
man.
what you need to do.
So, Wonder Boy's Lullaby. Whatever you do, just promise me you will not trip over small things. Way too much beautiful ahead, you stay strong and never look back. Pick up your piece and get lost in the strings, twist some leaf on a Monday. You planted your seed, now just water and feed, drop your shoulders and breathe. Understand that. Little live, laugh, love, couple hugs, you're enough. Keep it flowing and know that it's okay. It ain't so bad when you stick to a path, devoted to doing it your own way. Forget what they say, they just envy the lane that you paved all aboard on a soul train. Little mind at ease, don't try no guarantees, I'm a wonder boy.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. I sang that with my whole heart.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Sitting within, like, not even a foot away from you.
Yeah, I can't help but to, man. That song means so much to me. And that was my higher power speaking through me in the sense of, hey, this is who this being is.
Yeah.
You know, you are a product of all your experiences in life. And
essentially, yeah, that we
you know,
all
I'm not
are.
saying that I've had it the hardest but I've had a unique, like all of us, you know, any artist, you know, have had a real unique path, and the fact that I'm still here in these positions and doing this for a living, right?
Yeah.
And someday in the near future is just a testament to my will and to my yeah.
And I just want to point out something. Like, after you got done playing, your energy went down like a couple notches, like in a good way. Like, it kind of like
we fluttered back down to
it simmered.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a good segue into the next thing that I want to talk about, because you've been open about your experience with ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
You've been very open about your experience with that and a link to your creativity. And I know and I want to talk about it because a lot of creatives struggle with that, specifically because they were taught that it was something that they should suppress, and they don't really know how to connect with that source.
The kid that blurted out in class, right?
Exactly.
I raised my hand now after so many years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that it's something that you know, kind of, I mean, as you get into your teens and you truly gain consciousness and you truly, you know, what makes me happy versus what makes them happy, and that constant, you know, whether it's like this or like this is just kind of all dependent on, you know, the format of social interaction that's presented to you. And for
what's
me,
acceptable,
you know,
and how you should fit into that versus how it should fit around you.
Right. And you know, coming from, you know, Shawnee, I was born and raised a Shawnee Mission North kid, right? On the Kansas side. And, you know, having that, like, because Shawnee Mission North, Turner area, they're kind of be yourself, because you come from that neck of the woods. It's like, what do we have? Okay, be yourself
Yeah.
and see where it takes you.
Let's see where it takes you.
I remember at the time, as a freshman, they were like the best theater program in the region because they had just done Hairspray and they had just done like all these big, and they were great at it, right?
Yeah.
So as a wrestler, it was part of me, and that's the thing is going back and looking back. It's never look back though, Swoop, right? It's
not for comparison.
It was right. It was what I did, not who I was. And I think, as wrestling was the thing of all the things, the band, choir, the acting, the football, the la 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 la, right? And wrestling was the kind of one that got me the most attention.
Oh, okay.
And so that
makes sense.
made me I transferred to a private Catholic school, right?
Was wrestling a big part of that?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I grew up wrestling. I mean, kids club was St. Thomas Aquinas Kids Club, right? And so my freshman year, when all the kids that I wrestled with went to Aquinas, and I went to a public school, one of the parents approached me at a tournament and was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be nice to, be back in the room that you grew up, wrestling with and with all your people, and so you'd have practice partners, and because I really didn't have any practice partners in North, right? I was the only freshman on varsity, and the only state qualifier, the only and so
it was just a different experience.
And so as I went over to Aquinas and tried to be this multifaceted, colorful being that Zack Hoskins was. I remember first thing is like, I remember going to lunch and the boys didn't sit with the girls, which I was like, what's going on here, bro?
That is weird.
That's whack. Okay. All right. Whatever. Right. I'm going to go sit with the jocks, I guess. Right. So I sat down with the jocks, and I swear to God, I sat down with 10 carbon copies of their fathers. Right. And so these guys are all eating their, good for you ass food, and I have my fries and my Bosco sticks, and and they're like, "So what do you do, Zach?" "What do I do? What do you mean? What do I do?" I'm 15. I go to school. Oh, you're a wrestler, right?
Like, so immediately there was the box, and that's where you went.
Dude, and that drove me. I remember even then, at 15 years old, when I didn't even know, that drove me nuts. It was like, I don't like how that sit.
Right.
Who are you? You don't even know who you are.
Right.
And you're putting me in a box just because you're so used to watching your parents do that? Nah, try again, buddy.
So clearly, like, you getting back in touch with your creative side, all of the things that you were steeped in from a young age, the things that you picked up. It
was hard. Because at 16, they actually prescribed me with since I was a young kid, you might be ADD. And that's the thing about labels, man. Labels are all around you, right? And I think the fluidity, whether it's creative, whether it's any kind of the fluidness that is this over-encompassing umbrella that we all try to strive to be, drop labels, man. Because labels are the enemy. I promise they're the enemy. And so, they labeled me ADD, and the doctor said, "Hey, here's 20 milligram instant release. This will get him to listen. This will get him to shut up. This will get him to not question. This will get him." And by golly, did it, right? I mean, I remember I was the first person to class every day. I used to outline saints. I remember we had the planners and STA saints, and I used to outline saints in all different colors of just to have my mind fixate on something.
Yeah.
And as that was happening, as I was not talking as much, and as, "Oh, hi, Zach, how you doing?" I'm good. And not mean it.
Yeah.
That was something that tore me up. More than anything is whenever you tell people that you're good and
you're not.
Oh my God, I will never do. You will never catch me doing that again.
Yeah.
You know, like, because recently dealing with all the stuff I'm dealing with. How you doing, Swoovi? I've been better, you know?
Right. Is
With
that
a smile on my face.
that honestly again touches back to what we were talking about, connection.
Yeah.
You know, the vulnerability of being able to say, you know, since you asked, I'm actually not great,
Yeah.
but let me find out from you. Do you really want to know the story, or are you gonna drop it here?
Yeah, and let me find out how to portray, because a lot of people aren't really trying to take on that immediate baggage that I'm so able to throw on you if you want, right?
Right.
And so then you got to immediately in milliseconds do the math on, okay, how am I going to portray that I'm not good in a positive way so they get the memo and we can stay smiles without lying to yourself.
Without lying to yourself, without betraying yourself.
And so anyways, as I've gotten into, you know, and I do the 2 or 3 years of on the Adderall, right? And by the end of it, I was the end of my senior year, you know, it didn't go as well as I wanted with wrestling and stuff. And I found out that all these people really were accepting me because of what I did, not who I was. Really depressed.
Yeah.
And you know, Mom was starting to not recognize me. I was starting to not recognize. That's the thing. If you don't recognize yourself,
Yeah.
everybody around you is going to start to not recognize you, because you are like, people are going to treat you as well as you treat yourself.
That is 100% facts.
Life is a mirror house.
It is.
You know, and so, you know, as I am figuring this out, and I was really depressed, and I was really, you know, my mom's calling me Scott, you know, which is, you know, my dad. And so like all these things, you know, that like, I was like, okay, let me do something that it will never in a million years anybody who knew me thought I would do. And I went and moved in with a guy who really wasn't trying to be a parent anyways. Like he did it for a few years and tried with Mom. And mind you, Mom was the best mom in the whole wide world, right? Like she loved us more than life itself.
But you were just trying to figure out yourself.
Yeah,
And
and someone
to-
someone trying to compare. I mean, and as I'm becoming a man, I'm sure that there was things that I did that reminded her of my dad and stuff.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm getting called this guy that I don't really know like that, right? And so I was like, okay, let me go learn about this guy. You know, my co-creator. I know about you, Mom. And
Your bio dad.
biological dad, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, he's one of the coolest people I know, but at the same time, he wasn't trying to be inconvenienced with how
With parenting you.
right? And and I'm essentially more my mom than I was going to be of him, because he wanted to do his thing, which I'm not mad about in any like that. And that was something that I really had to, because that's the thing. At 18 years old, you can't help but to think, okay, this is what life has come to. You want answers. What? Why the hell has all this been? Okay, why did you do? And why did you? And why am I? And you know what I mean?
And what I get from that is those whys led you back to yourself, which led you back to music.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really excited about that, because it opens up a whole world for you. And then, like with the song that you played for us, that is kind of like a love letter to the found version of yourself.
That little boy that got abandoned because he
Yeah.
thought he had to be somebody he wasn't to make it in this world.
So what I'm hearing is, from the culmination of all those experiences, leading you back to yourself, you know, trying to see if you saw yourself in your bio dad, seeing yourself outside of yourself, in a school where everybody was so different, and just all of this really led you back to finding yourself in your music. So tell me about what's next for you. I know you got a new song coming out, an album.
Yeah, so I do. So yeah, all those experiences, you know, it's, you know, I said earlier in our interview that, you know, this is a cyclical existence, right?
Right.
Thank God I was led back to my inner child.
Yeah.
Because that's what's brilliant. That and for creatives, you only hope to get back to who that is.
Exactly.
And then you build off of that child and be somebody who younger you would be proud of, right?
Right.
And
right.
so, you're right. So from here on out, I build that testament. I build that swoovin', right? What that is and how everybody can sing along and how so I got the album coming out, License to Swoove.
Of course.
Come on now, man.
Of course.
License to be yourself. Because that's the kickoff, it's funny, and one of my already out City Boy Boogie, they say, well, Swoovi, how do you go from City Boy, from Wonder Boy's Lullaby, which is such a intimate song to, kick down the door, swinging for the fences, City Boy Boogie, right?
But that's part of you though.
And I had my buddy Jansen interrupt somebody asking me that one time on the City Boy Boogie set. He goes, Swoovi had to do Wonder Boy's Lullaby. That was his immediate healing. And that EP was just hit that immediate, because I tried to play house in my early 20s with a gal who was damaged in her own regards, and I wore that damage as like a badge of honor for some dumbass reason.
We try to save versions of ourselves with other people sometimes.
And so that tore me up trying to play house with with a gal, and we didn't know each other, and so we bent, right. And so I got out of that, gave her distance. I hope nothing but the best for her. But License to Swoove. I got Wonder Boy out of the way, hearts calloused and healing, right? And so now this License to Swoove, and it's gonna be, the cover is gonna be me and my twin, riding off in the sunset during golden hour in that drop top old beat up Delta 88. Hey, this is our testament. We get to be us now, bro.
Yeah.
And and so a lot of the album, about 2/3 of the album, I had already written, composed, and arranged, right? And Brandon Black, which huge shouts out to Brandon Black. That guy, artists, you want to know what can take your production to the next level? Find a producer that really speaks your language.
Yeah.
Because anybody can sit there and take your money and squeak out records and singles and little EPs, but if you don't have somebody that you can truly connect with and then you share the creative process with, it's never going to be what you want it to be. So
that's good advice.
I just thought so as I found my producer, who we're gonna go take over the world together, right? Me and Brandon. I was a few Wednesdays back, because we work on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I sat down the session, pulled out Baby, started thumbing through one of my songs, Indigo Sunrise. I thought was what we were doing that day. He goes, "Put that guitar away, bro. We ain't gonna use that today." And I'm like, the inner Tism is like, what? We're going outside
of
what we
comfort zone?
Oh no.
Yeah.
But this is also, I had to remind myself, this is part of great creative process.
Being pushed.
And he said, Swoovi, we're gonna get you out of your feelings and out the coffee shop and get you a club and get you a club record, man. Maybe we need to get people really, figuring out what Swoove is, man. And so, this What the Beat Say came from.
And that's going to be the next release for that album.
Well, actually, I'm going to start teasing stuff here in a few weeks.
Got you.
Right? And so just one by one, we're going to tease them, and then there's going to be the drop and the show and the la 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 shh. Right?
The whole thing, right? Don't give it all up.
Right. So I sat down in that moment, and I was like, okay, I put my guitar away. He goes, you're in my session now. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I felt like that kid on the first day of kindergarten that wasn't no way they were going to take their backpack off, bro. And so, as he starts producing and he, comes up with these tasty little funkalicious licks, and I'm sitting there and I sit up in my seat and I'm pull out my notes on my phone and I'm like, I feel my head start to flex, right? And I'm like, no, this is not how great creativity comes about. You're thinking. Feel. Michael Jackson said, I don't force creativity, it comes to me.
Right.
And so when I caught myself doing that, I immediately, just like nothing mattered. right? And I just literally focused on the thump in the production. And I sat there and focused on my breathing. It took me like 10 minutes to really settle in to what the hell.
Because it was so new.
Right.
So you basically had to do this on the fly.
Oh,
he
my
challenged
God.
you to do this on the fly.
On the fly.
Yeah.
Because he's like, bro, you're going to get in these LA rooms. You're going to get in these like big, where they're going to put you on the spot as a songwriter and arranger and a composer. And you're going to be like, and they're going to be like, okay, time. Give me what I paid for. You know? And so I sat back and I just kind of focused on my breathing for about 10 minutes. And I started my higher conscious talk to myself. Okay, bro, what are you here doing? We're making an album. Oh, that's right. License to Swoovi. Hell yeah. I'm right where I want to be. And then so I was like, okay, License to Swoovi. Live from the middle of the freeway. All right, bet. Because everything's happening so fast. And I said, can't hear shit but what... And I was just talking out loud to myself, right? Like, I ain't hear shit but what the beat say. And Brandon immediately like stopped and turned like around and looked at me. He goes, I like what you put in the air there, Swoovi. That might be the title of the single. And
that's how it came about.
Lo and behold.
And I honestly cannot wait for people to hear that because it sounds like it was such an organic process.
Oh, man.
Organic and dynamic.
I didn't know it was in me, you know. I had to read, for the first time since my Z-Immaculate rapping era, I had to read the lyrics off of my phone as I was recording.
That's dope.
And I was like, who wrote that? Who did that?
And it just came out. So I know people are like so excited for this now, hearing about it. So just go ahead and tell them where they can find you so that they can get in on the Swoovicity.
The essence of Swoovi. Anyways, you can find Swoovi on Facebook, Camp Swoovi, Instagram, everything Swoovi. YouTube is also Camp Swoovi. Just got a LinkedIn. And it's Words at Weird, Zachary Swoovi Hoskins, but whatever. And I also have a website, everythingswoovi.com. So, yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure just, doing this. And thank you for sharing this is incredible, man.
I'm so glad that we had you on, and I know that what we talked about is going to definitely reach somebody because you have a very interesting experience and a unique perspective, and you're probably going to inspire a lot of people to just say, forget it. I'm going to brand myself and I'm going to put it out the way that I want to.
Quit fitting in.
Quit trying to fit in. Do it yourself.
That's
so
right.
I love that.
Thank you.
Again, many thanks to Swoovi, a.k.a. Zack Hoskins, for joining me today. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, you comment, you subscribe. The links that he gave will be down in the description box below. New episodes of Getting Close Up air bi-weekly on Friday, so definitely check us out. And also, make sure to catch us at GCU Review with me and D, and we give you the tea on what's hot and what's not. Thanks, you guys, for watching. You're the best part of all of this, and I'll see you again soon for another Close Up. I'll be checking for you.
Yeah.
Bye.